Welcome back. Building on U.S. and Cuba relations, literally, one big U.S. equipment maker is hoping to assemble and build low-cost tractors in Cuba. If Washington approves, it will be the first American company to have operations there in more than 50 years. Michael Voss reports.
There are 25 American companies and trade organizations represented at this year's Havana International Trade Fair, the first since Cuba and the United States restored diplomatic relations. And it's a simple, low-tech, low-cost retro tractor based on a 1950s design that's attracting attention.
The three-year goal is we will send components for assembly, but then we will do total manufacturing in Cuba, hopefully sourcing as many components from Cuba as possible.
U.S. President Barack Obama has authorized the sale of agricultural equipment to Cuba's private farmers and cooperatives. Many still rely on oxen to plow their fields. Those with access to tractors mainly rely on old Soviet models in constant need of repair. This U.S. tractor goes back to basics. It's cheap to build and simple to maintain.
We picked it because there are no patents that still existed, so we could copy a proven model without having to do significant engineering. But also the design, it is really just bent and cut metal and a motor. So it can be maintained in the field or in the shop.
The Cuban authorities have approved a plan to assemble the machines at the new tax-free special development zone around the port of Mariel. Now it's up to Washington to agree. But when it comes to food imports, it's the Cubans who are holding back.
Washington has allowed U.S. food companies to sell produce to Cuba for more than a decade. But now that the two countries have restored diplomatic relations, Cuba is buying less than before.
Agricultural sales so far this year total around $125 million, according to the U.S. Trade and Economic Council. That compares to almost $300 million in sales in 2014 and more than $700 million at its peak in 2008. Under the U.S. trade embargo, American suppliers can't offer credit, so the Cubans have turned to competitors who can. Michael Voss, CCTV, Havana.